So let's go ahead and get started on this COVID-19 lecture. So again, I want you guys to hop now to 2019, where we now talk about the coronavirus, particularly COVID-19, which was the coronavirus discovered in 2019. Again, we believe that this actual virus underwent a mutation via this zoonosis, right? So we have a bat, it mutated within the bat, then it actually had the ability to mutate within another animal as the intermediate host, potentially. Again, we're still not completely sure, but we believe it could be what's called a pangolin. So they think that this virus hopped onto a bat as its reservoir, mutated enough, got transferred to a pangolin, mutated enough that it can now infect a human and cause COVID-19, okay, which is the novel coronavirus discovered in 2019. This is what we know about this virus. Now, another thing that we have to understand about this virus is not just the zoonosis effect of it, but we also should know some of the case fatality rates, because this is becoming a big concern in society right now. Everybody is very, very scared of the coronavirus. And again, we don't want to or viral pneumonia like influenza pneumonia or other different types like adenovirus, they can present with actual findings on a CT scan very similar to COVID-19. But again, it's helpful in helping to it has a high sensitivity of 95% in looking at COVID-19. So first thing you can do is you can do a chest x-ray. It's not going to be the best, but it can lead you somewhere. What are some of the things that you're going to see in a chest x-ray? You might see this area of what's called ground glass opacities. So you may see what's called ground glass opacities. Now, from there, maybe you say, oh, this is not as sensitive. This is not what I want. It's not as good. I'm going to go ahead and do a CT scan. I do a CT scan and I see ground glass opacities again in the peripheral lung fields. So let's say I see some ground glass. And then I go and I run through my actual CT scan a little bit more. And then I start noticing some areas of consolidation. And if I start seeing these areas of consolidation, oh, that's not good. That means that I also have some pneumonia as well. So we have some ground glass opacities, which are going to be a little interstitial edema. Consolidation, which is going to be a lot of those actual accumulation of cellular debris, proteins, right? And then leading to what's called a special term called the crazy paving pattern. So we can see ground glass opacities, consolidation, and you'll see later when we show you on CT scan, you can also see what's called a crazy paving pattern. It's a special radiological term that they say also could be associated with interstitial fluid thickening and membrane thickening, as well as alveolar and interstitial edema. Other things you could do is, if you're skilled or you have the time, you could do what's called point-of-care ultrasounds. Ultrasounds also can be utilized. What you can look for is you can look for what's called pleural line thickening. And we'll show you what that means on an actual ultrasound. So you can look for what's called pleural line thickening. Another thing you can do is you can check for, again, with interstitial pulmonary edema, you can see these specific lines called B lines. So we can also look for increasing B lines within a specific zone, okay? The last thing that we could also maybe see is consolidation with air bronchograms. So there may also be consolidation with air bronchograms. And again, we'll see all of this on the imaging here in just a second. Very scared of the coronavirus. And again, we don't want to overreact, but we want to make sure that we don't underreact to this virus, because it is a very serious virus. To give you guys a little bit
cutting off or banning China from coming in. Or banning China from coming in. Report what was happening. They didn't report what was happening inside of China. No, I'm not happy with China. The rest of the world has to be China. It's a massive country. It's gone through a tremendous problem with this, a tremendous problem. And they must have the most. It seems to make sense. They talk about a certain kind of bat, but that bat wasn't in that area. If you can believe this, that's what they're down to now is bats. But that bat is not in that area. That bat wasn't sold at that wet zone. It wasn't sold there. That bat is 40 miles away. 184 countries now are suffering because of it. And it's too bad, isn't it? And it could have been solved very easily. When it was just starting, it could have been solved really very easily. 184. But they didn't report what was happening. They didn't report what was happening inside of China. No, I'm not happy with China.
美方罔顾事实，捕风捉影。